really how you can save someone's life, but more importantly, how you can even be smarter in life. Yeah. And I wanted to mention as we start the show, at the end, we are going to talk about why you have to feed your brain really good things, right? Whether it be physical food or mental food, it's important to feed your brain really good things. And there is a reason why. And there is an ancient Chinese secret why people are smarter. We're going to be talking about that, right? We even gave away a clue. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show, so stay tuned here.
But on the rice.
Yes, it's on the So we'll take your comments with a grain of salt today, but or a grain of rice, right? But in all sincerity, we are also talking about what is called the side hustle business marketplace. And that's all about innovation, how we deal with things in the new economy today. Mm-hmm. Of course, we have a great platform that we'll be launching there in Elk Grove. Mayor, I was going to say Chef Lee, because we've been talking about food together, the mayor and I. We're going to be visiting different restaurants and locales in that area in Elk Grove. But what we're doing is talking about how we apply a lot of things that are happening now today in the new economy. How has the new economy affected the way we do things, and how you can really advance in terms of what you're doing in life and in business and really excel? There's going to be some great tips here as well. So once again, we are talking about brain food. And this is Jim T. Chong, the Wokstar, and I'm with Chef Nessa and Mary Nicholson. So let's go ahead and get started here and really talk about the first topic. So who do you think we should start with, you or Mary today, Chef Nessa? Mary. Oh, all right, we'll take 200 for the brain here. All right. So, the brain is really important for everything we do. Most people have a brain, and so most people do have a brain. I'm not kidding. Why are you laughing? Most people have a brain, and most people have at least 4 brain cells. Excuse me, and we know that 2 are always running, because that way they can take different shifts, right? Like in the economy today, people have to work 2 jobs, sometimes 3, to survive, right? Yeah, which absolutely. Is, by the way, why we need a side hustle sometimes.
But I feel like this new economy, there's more entrepreneurs rising.
Really?
There are more people that are, taking business into their own hands.
Right.
We need more of them.
Right.
We really do need more of them. And I feel like the economy is definitely changing, and I feel like it's favoring more towards like mom and pop stores and just people who are hustling.
The mom and pop.
Yeah, we really do need to. Yeah. So
entrepreneurs more. The younger generation is deciding that they would prefer to work for themselves than for other people.
Yes, absolutely.
That we wish they would have figured that out earlier, right? But in all sincerity,
better late than never.
Today things are done a little differently, but we're going to talk about this. First off, we wanted to talk about a staple in Stockton, California, and San Joaquin County, providing really important information. We had the stroke, Brain Health to Beat Stroke Walk over at University of Pacific. By the way, shout out to some great people, Daniel Nuss, as well as George Lewis, that ran that endeavor there. Ran that endeavor during the walk. All right. So, but the whole thing is that we have the organization. Mary finally got it.
Nonstop.
All right.
He's all right. Like this.
So one thing I wanted to mention here. In all sincerity, we're talking about the brain here, right? And the brain needs different things. You see water here on the screen, The brain needs water. But we have Mary Nicholson, who is really an expert in terms of really helping facilitate things that deal with stroke awareness. And also now, more importantly, recovery as well. But, I wanted to talk a little bit about, because it's all about the brain, right? But then we're going to talk about a very special event that's coming up that isn't just about the brain. Is how people really take care of other people. That's called caregiving. All right? So I wanted to ask Mary, in terms of stroke, why is it that you are so passionate about getting the information out about stroke?
Well, Jim, it's almost been 13 years now, this November, that Healings in Motion started. And there's so many people who hear about stroke, but not really understand how massive it is, not only in the United States, but worldwide. It is the number 2 cause of death worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
There are more people dying from stroke and also living with some long-term disability because of stroke, more than there are veterans who have gone out and fought on the fields. Not only those who come back who are dealing with wounds and things like that, but if you think about the fact that in the United States, over 800,000 people have a stroke every year.
Oh, wow.
And out of that, 200,000 die.
Wow.
That means that about 600,000 people are living with some kind of brain injury or disability, and that's cumulative. There's so many people who are living who may not be functioning at full speed because there is something that happened to their brain. And oftentimes many people are suffering because they didn't recognize the stroke symptoms or didn't take it as an emergency and go seek medical treatments as it is an emergency. And subsequently, the fact that more strokes are happening to the younger population, people who are thriving and having a household, people are being affected on the workforce, people are being affected in relationships, and as parents, there are a lot of things that are affected because you suddenly have a stroke. And that is definitely a brain injury.
You know,
it's a life-changing experience.
The whole thing is really true. Strokes, true or false, Chef Nessa, that strokes happen, only for older people.
No, I mean, like she said, anybody.
Yeah, anyone.
Anybody.
All right, and so the reason why I want to bring that point out is that stroke can happen to anybody at any time.
It can happen in the womb of a mother.
Really?
Infants have strokes.
Wow.
That is pretty interesting.
Wow.
Let me ask you, what are the contributing factors to stroke today? Why is there a rising case of stroke that we're noticing amongst the general populace?
Well, first of all, let me say that there is something that is called cryptogenic stroke. There can be people who are on the field playing tennis, having a great time, and suddenly have a stroke. It can happen at any time to anybody. That's one thing. However, there are risk factors that elevate the chances of having stroke. Those being high blood pressure, smoking, diabetes, overweight. Those are controllable factors. There are other factors that are not controllable. Those being age. The older you get, the more susceptible you are to having a stroke. It's a higher risk. Ethnicity is another risk.
What ethnic groups do we find have a higher risk in stroke?
Well, African Americans have strokes more than 3 times other races. However, the Asian population also is a high risk of stroke. So is Hispanics. There are just lifestyle patterns that are also part of the risk factors. And it's always a baffling thing for me that it is an ongoing statement that various ethnicities are more susceptible to stroke. But it also has to do with where you live, circumstances that go with it. Certainly stress, but stress is something that is a risk factor for everyone. And so, there's things that are always coming up, but what is really key in relationship to stroke is to make sure that you identify the stroke symptoms and respond quickly, immediately. Would you like to know what those?
Well, I think this is really important. So I want you, if you're out there, get a pen, paper. If you're driving, please keep your hands on the wheel. This does not apply to you, right? Some of you are watching this through our Facebook live feed. There is a channel that is directly streaming on the radio station Facebook page. And, of course, it's being broadcasted. But if you're driving, please do not take out a pencil and paper. I just want to make sure that's clear. So, don't crash. All right, that's from an Asian. We have a history with driving. But what I wanted to mention, these are very important, and I think we should actually ask you to see if you know what they are. Do you know what the signs of a stroke are?
I believe I remember from the last event or the last meeting. What was
the acronym is Be Fast.
Be Fast.
All right. What is this, right? When you eat a lot, you cannot be fast. But no, it's Be Fast. What does that stand for?
Go ahead.
Balance.
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 Your balance.
Stands for balance. Mm-hmm. If suddenly, and the key word is suddenly, things shift and you just can't keep your balance. And then you might notice that there is something happening with your sight. Your eyes, your vision starts to change.
Like blurred vision?
Blurred vision. Mm-hmm. And then you might have fast, meaning that suddenly there might be a droop on your face. Suddenly.
Droop?
There's a droop.
Yeah.
And then there's an A standing for what, Jim? Arms.
Stands for arms. Arms are limp.
Yes. One arm may not be, you can't hold one out like the other one. There's fast, and then there's S for speech. Right. Mm-hmm. You're slurring your speech. You sound differently. Mm-hmm. And you can't stick your tongue out, for example. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the last part of that acronym is T, which is most important. That stands for time.
Yes.
Brain, they consider brain is all about timing, because the longer you have a stroke symptom, then the longer it takes for you to get treatment, the more damage can occur to your brain.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
So these are very important. And here's the thing to let you know why we stress this so much. When someone is having a stroke, even mild signs, sometimes they come and go, right? These signs.
Right.
They're temporary, and you think, oh, that wasn't a big deal.
You can have a mini stroke.
Yeah.
But it's a warning.
It's a warning. And so really, when you're having a stroke and the signs go away, it might be worth checking out. Now, if you're having a stroke or somebody you care for is having a stroke, it will be significant. You may not be able to understand them. Here is the awkward thing. They think they make sense sometimes, but they just don't. And so when you see these signs, it's something to pay a huge attention to, because you've got to get them to the hospital quickly
as soon as possible,
to get this special shot, this TPA shot. Tell us a little bit about what this shot does, if you could do that, Mary.
Sure. There is a blood clot busting agent called tissue plasminogen activator, or TPA. That is what you want to get to the hospital immediately to see if you have an opportunity to receive this TPA shot. What it does, first of all, a stroke usually is created by a clot that stops oxygen from getting to your brain, right? So what the blood clot busting agent does is it breaks up that clot so that you can start resuming oxygen getting to your brain, and that then creates an atmosphere so that you don't receive the same depth of disabilities that you might have without having that blood clot busting agent. The sooner you get it, the better results you might have.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is really key, because that can mean a difference between you possibly fully recovering or really being disabled for the rest of your life. And it could be very serious, the consequences, if you don't take care of that quickly, because brain cells are dying.
Yeah.
And so it's very important to be able to get the help you need, when you need it quickly. So again, that's why we say if you have the signs of stroke, be fast. Balance is not right? You have the face is drooping, arms is drooping, speech is slurred.
Vision.
And vision as well. And also just T stands for time, because time is brain. So thank you for sharing that. I know we've been talking about that for many, many years, because again, there are some people that have been saved because they were aware of what's going on. Here in the San Joaquin County, I think it's arguably said that Healing's Motion really created the first initial blueprint and real awareness about stroke in the county. And now we have a lot of these regional stroke centers, and they're very important because general hospitals in general, I should say, they don't know how to treat stroke, or sometimes they can't even identify them. Is that right, Mary?
Right. Advocacy is very important when it comes to making sure that you know what the symptoms are. And if, in fact, you walk in, for example, rather than call 911 and get an ambulance to come pick you up, you have to be the advocate. You have to speak up. You have to make sure that the right things are done. Yep. We have made a lot of progress in relationship to stroke care. But quite frankly, it is an overload at the hospitals. And oftentimes, you might not be treated right away. So advocacy is really important, and education is really important. And that is why Healings in Motion has been bringing in experts to speak every month and doing community outreach programs to educate the community. Why? Because I am a stroke survivor. There are two types of strokes. One is a hemorrhagic stroke. That's a bleed. You might call it a brain aneurysm. And that's the most deadly. That's the one where if you have an aneurysm, there is a minimal number of people who actually survive and are able to live independently. Then there is something called an ischemic stroke. The ischemic stroke is the blockage. Now, in my case, I happened to have a hemorrhagic stroke, and then I had an ischemic stroke on the operating table, which also led to a grand mal seizure.
Wow.
The likelihood of my surviving was minimal. In fact, my family was told that I would be a vegetable if I survived. Wow. Out of the graces of God, I did. And so I kind of designated that I was empowered to share this information with you and to let you know this is not a joke. This is very serious, and it's not something to just take lightly.
Yes.
To the point where you don't go get treated and demand treatment. And so for me, I've pretty much dedicated my life to making sure that you know about it, but it's on you to take the steps for treatment.
Wow.
That's right.
Thank you. I saw that movie by Tyler Perry, The Diary of a Mad Black Woman. I don't want to be on the other side of you, Mary. You mean it when you say this.
I absolutely do.
You are on a mission and a vendetta against stroke. So I really look up to you in terms of what you've done to the community. And I want all of us to think about what mission do we feel like our life serves, here today. And, Mary, it's great. You've been in that situation where you could have been paralyzed for, the rest of your life. But yet you fought through. You created an organization designed to help people not have to go through the suffering. That's what you were built for this.
Yes,
you are truly a champion.
I'm built for this.
Yeah, it reminds me of that song. You know what it is? I said she was a champion. What song is that?
Oh.
Right? Let's all sing it. It says, "We are the champions, my friends. Oh, we'll keep on fighting till the end. Because we are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losing. Because we are the champions of the world." Anyway. You knew that was coming. You knew the hashtag Wokstar karaoke is going to be in the house here. But in all sincerity, Mary Nicholson, Chef Nessa, I believe she deserves a big round of applause.
Yes,
out there,
does.
I want you to really understand the significance that has
difference.
national implications here. By the way, not just about stroke, but taking care of people in general. We have a very special event brought to you by Healings in Motion over at the Ag Center, a big center out here in Central Valley in San Joaquin County. And we want you to know about this at the Robert Cabral Ag Center in Stockton, California. And it is called the Inner Safari. And Mary, can you tell us a little bit about the Inner Safari?
I can tell you a lot about it, but let me just say this.
I think, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Go ahead. The monthly meetings as well.
Listen,
I want to know when those are.
What happened just before I had my stroke, I came to San Joaquin County as a newlywed, and before I could actually relocate here, my husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Oh, no. What a story I have. But shortly after he passed away was when I had my aneurysm and ischemic stroke, and I had to be taken care of by some wonderful caregivers myself. And so I entered into the world of caregiving and got a clear understanding of what people have to do to care for somebody else and what they give up. Mm-hmm. And so when I started Healings in Motion, the one thing that I wanted to do was pay it forward and create a day of thanks to all of the people who are serving as caregivers, whether they are caring for somebody with Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes, or stroke, or wounded veterans, or first responders.
Yes.
There are some serious people who are dedicating their life to care for other people. Yes. And so with the Inner Safari Caregiving Conference, we bring people together to give them a wonderful day of pampering. The Inner Safari is about going inside of yourself so that you can tap into who you are and that love that's inside of you. It's a day of self-love.
Yes.
So we have speakers who are specialists on different areas of caring. We have a pamper parlor. We have a vendor village. We are so many times forgetting people who are caring for others and saying thank you. Mm-hmm. And this event on November 9th at the Robert Cabral Ag Center is about that. That's amazing. If you don't have a caregiver in your life, guess what? One day you're either going to be a caregiver.
That's true.
Have a caregiver. Right. I wish you did.
That's
so
true.
Let me just tell you that this is not just for caregivers. It's for everyone to come and get this information. And in addition to that, the largest age group right now are the baby boomers. Mm. And as we age, and I'm included, we're going to need care. And guess who's going to be taking care of us? The millennials.
That's right.
So we are inviting millennials
if you're not married or married
and get their information.
Right.
That's new. Did I say it wrong?
No,
that's him.
I'm just saying.
Do my side.
I want. My daughter comes every year, and I'm hoping that she's getting a grain of information that's going to help her later as I age, if I'm blessed to continue on this path, so that there's so many tools. And the one thing that happened while I was caring for my husband was that I didn't know the term. I didn't know that there was a term called caregiving. And so a lot of tools that I could have used to better my husband's journey, I didn't know about.
Yeah.
And so we bring all kinds of resources together. We want the caregivers to feel better, look better, and do better. Mm-hmm. And that's what's going to be happening at the caregiver
they have a really
conference.
hard job. They really have a hard job.
So I
have a friend that has done caregiving for many, many years, and she's on watching right now too. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Kirby.
And then also Kate's song said hi. She said, "Long time no see, Mary."
Hi there.
Anyway, but yeah, no, it's a lot of work. I've seen her, with different clients, and she does amazing work. And I would love for her to come and meet you and bring her to the the monthly meetings, as well as my mother. My mother had a stroke. She had 3 strokes back to back. And
how is she today?
She is actually very functionable. The only thing that's affected her is her memory. She can't really drive like on the freeway. She has to drive like back roads. She can't drive at night. Her vision is a little, impaired at night. Yeah. But I mean, she has a routine every day. She gets up, she does her little gardening. She, takes care of her dogs. She's doing really well. But I really wish there are times where she has bad days and it's really hard for her. Yeah. But I wish that I had this when she went through it, And so I think you're right. It's important that we all really need to educate ourselves because it could happen to anybody. Yeah.
It's not an easy road. And I'm going to tell you that given the experiences that I went through, I look relatively okay. But there are days when I've been fighting with cognitive issues. There are a lot of things called invisible disabilities that people who have strokes have to deal with. Mm-hmm. And so we create, as Healings in Motion, we have a support group where people can come. It's called STARS, Stroke Thrivers and Recovery Strivers. And we do that on the second Thursday of every month.
Second Thursday of every month.
We have and everybody who has had a stroke or caregivers are invited to attend.
Mom, I'm bringing you.
Cool. We have the CV RAPS program, as Jim mentioned, which is the Central Valley Recovery Awareness Preventing Strokes program, where we not only bring survivors and caregivers, but social workers and stroke coordinators and others come so that we can network and get to know one another better and see from different dynamics what all goes into that. Again, we have the annual Brain Health to Beat Stroke 5K, but in addition to that, we have something called Real Talk, where we bring in other experts to do real talk about it. And other programs that we do, Caring for Me Too, which is an outreach program. So it takes the Inner Safari Caregiver Conference and expands it throughout the county throughout the entire year. We go to various communities. And so Healings in Motion for 13 years has been bringing this to the community, and it's been a labor of love.
Yes.
I've been doing it with volunteers and other support, not making any money from it, but it's to say thank you. Thank you to God. Thank you to people in this community who all pitched in to save my life, but are also reaching out to save others' lives. We can do a lot together, very little apart.
Yes. That is really true. And one thing, I think that deserves a little bit of a shout out here. And we're spending a lot of time talking about this. If you're local in this community, you have direct access to a great resource. Somebody that is really thirsty, guess what they get? They get water. We have the water right here in San Joaquin County for you. Again, we are with the CEO and founder of Healings in Motion, Mary Nicholson, with a great event, the Inner Safari, that's happening November 9th. I will be actually helping MC it along with Carolyn A. Brent, an award-winning author, incredible stuff, a champion. Her stuff is in Harvard and top-level universities.
Stanford, all over the major universities. Not
Berkeley,
only in the United
Berkeley,
States,
smart
but in
people
the
come
world.
from Berkeley. I'm not just saying that because I went to Berkeley, but I have to give a shout out. Go Bears! But one thing,
UCLA,
we have to get a chance to know. But I wanted to mention, just take the time out to really highlight that because that's so very important. That's about the brain. Remember, the stroke occurs in the brain, but you got to take care of it. Now, you are a real champion. I know we've had some champions that have tuned in here on my personal Facebook page, although you can catch a different sort of feed that is from the station. You can go to the Voice of San Joaquin on Facebook and look at that as well. But I want you to be able to really think about, how your life would change if you had a stroke and you were not able to get the care you needed it when you needed it.
Well, Jim, I want to make sure that people know where to register for the Caregiver Conference.
Yes, please, if you could.
Sure. It's at Caregiver Conference 2019.eventbrite.com, and that's Caregiver Conference 2019.eventbrite.com.
Okay, that's great. And you can also go to healingsinmotion.org to find out more information about the organization. Now, we're rounding this out. We are almost at the top of the hour here. So we talked a lot about the brain, right? That was a smart thing to do. There we go. Okay, I was waiting for that. Those of you out there got it. Smart thing to do. But I want to talk about really, just how we can nourish the brain. Chef Nessa, you're known for your salsa. You've done some great work in some great restaurants here. Mm-hmm. Your work is incredible. I love your food. I love your Wokstar salsa that you created there. What a coincidence, right? I'm the Wokstar. Okay, but I want to ask
that was made for you. Come on.
I know. It has a little Asian spice to it, right?
Yes.
And we found out from Mary Nicholson, if you need a caregiver, the thing you need to do is get married. But if you don't get married, you might. Okay. No, maybe not. If you want to have somebody take care of you, right?
I'm thinking that maybe we need to have some salsa.
I know.
That's what I'm thinking about.
We might need to have that.
I'll bring salsa at the next meeting.
In all sincerity, what is some food that is healthy for the brain?
Oh, man. You just eating, your fruits and vegetables, your grains, your fish. Fish is amazing. And, you don't have to completely cut everything off, but just kind of, in moderation. I feel like if you work with your what you put, what you feed yourself, it can make a difference. I mean, you can feel, more energetic, more focused. And, I feel like when you take care of yourself like that, you feel it immensely in your brain, your body, everything. So I think that if you work hard on trying to, do meal preps, I feel like when you do meal prepping and you kind of plan out, okay, this is what I'm eating, it'll help. And that's exactly what I'm doing again. I did it for a while last year, and I had a few clients, and they really loved it. And I stopped because I started, working at other restaurants and working for other people, but
that's exciting.
I feel like I really need to bring that back, because I've had people come to me and say, "Hey, are you meal prepping again?" And I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I should probably do that again."
Great.
So I will be providing that service once again, and really helping people have a better, healthy lifestyle.
Right. Now, I know you do a lot of catering as well,
yes,
right? Tell us a little bit about catering. Why is your catering different than others, or is it all the same?
No, I feel like my flavors are very different from other
That's
people.
why you have flavors of Nessa.
Yes.
I get it.
Flavors of Chef
I
Nessa.
get it.
Yes. My flavors are different. I have lots of healthy food that I present as well, but it tastes great. Right now, I'm actually sort of the personal caterer for Presentation Church. I do several events for them.
That's a huge church.
Ladies Isabel, I've done an event for them.
I'm actually
doing another event for them next Tuesday, and then I'm also doing a ladies' night out event at the St. Luke's Church.
Right. Do guys qualify if we wear a wig? Yeah. Does that work? Or if we all go to the bathroom together, if we wear high heels, are we able to join in?
Good idea.
Remember, we are living in a
this is a whole new world.
Yeah, a whole new world. Okay, the way we do things here today.
But no, I will be doing that event. This October, this month. It's already October. Oh my God! So October 18th.
It's a scary month.
I know, right? It's going by like that.
It's a scary month.
So,
sure
like I said, I'm doing an event October 18th at St. Luke's Church here in Stockton. It's a ladies' night event, and basically there'll be lots of different vendors. I will be catering it. I'll be making roasted chicken and grilled veggies, and I'll have a garden salad and feta cranberry salad as well. So it'll have a full on feta and cranberry, cheese, cranberry. And a balsamic vinaigrette.
We want to make sure
salad. Have you had that before?
This is really
good. Sounds good.
Yeah,
it does. I will tell you, you have to experience the flavors of Chef Nessa.
Yeah,
they are really true.
A dish for the caregiver conference that can sit on the table.
She could create a special dish there.
I can definitely.
See, this is
I'll definitely.
I
can do some things for you. I can actually. The next time that we have the meeting, I'll bring some samples and you can try some.
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay. So that this is how things are connected here. And what I wanted to mention here, it is important to eat healthy, right? Not all healthy things necessarily taste good.
Not all healthy things have to be bland.
Right. But give one tip that people can do to really spicing. Let's say we talk about vegetables, right? Mm-hmm. What can they do to make their vegetables more interesting, more intriguing? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mix them up. And I would personally, I like to, when I make my vegetables, I saute them with garlic and butter, not margarine, real butter.
Does that really make a difference?
It really makes a difference. And there's so much salt in margarine. There's so much fatty and salts that your body doesn't need. Yeah. And when you use the unsalted actual real butter, that's better for you health-wise. And so use a little bit of that with garlic. The garlic really brings flavor to vegetables. Garlic is good. And garlic is good for you.
Yeah.
So that's my tip is that, hey, if you're a person who doesn't really like to eat vegetables, saute them in some butter and garlic, just a little bit, give some flavor. And, you kind of just like play around with a little bit what your palate likes, because everyone likes different.
Right.
What about vegan butter?
Vegan butter, yeah, definitely.
That works good too. As long as it's real butter, right?
Yeah.
But it's not butter; it's parquet. Yeah. Parquet? Does parquet work? Okay, no. You're like, okay, that's margarine. Same thing.
No, but seriously,
no, it's not. It's not the same thing.
I'm still, selling tickets for the ladies' night out. So if you guys are interested,
yes,
you can go on my, or you can go to stluke'sdivas.com and you can purchase their $25. Like I said, they come with that whole
St. Luke's Divas.
Church. And yes, so it's www.stlukesdivas.com.
Great.
And that's where you get the ticket.
Right.
And like I said, there'll be vendors. You can sit down and eat. There'll be also people who will be speaking as well. And the church will provide desserts for everyone.
Yeah.
And I will have an It Works booth. Sharing the health and wellness products that I that I use. You
brought up It Works. We are missing Stevie Muma. Muma, where are you? We want our Muma.
And I will also have a Relay for Life booth there at the event, and I will be selling my fresh made pasta that me and my family make handmade.
Yeah.
And I will be selling batches of that, and half or 50% of the proceeds will be donated to the Cancer Society.
Great.
I want to do more, so I'm going to be donating them. And I'm also a captain leader for them as well now. My team name is Chef for a Cure.
Okay.
And
nice.
I just started, so I'm brand new. I'm still working at, building my team together and doing more events and really just kind of giving back. And like I said, I'm very interested in, going more to those meetings of yours. Like I said, I have my mother. I also have two of my very good friends whose father had a stroke, and he unfortunately didn't have, wasn't as blessed as my mother was. My mother is still functioning, but he isn't. He, has to stay in a home, and he's just very, not very functionable. And I feel like more people really need to, learn about this. And so I would love to come and bring them and even bring some samples of my food and we can work
this is really
to meet everyone else, really
this is really exciting what we're talking about. And, we just have real candid talk here. And, if you're in San Joaquin County, if you're in Stockton, you want to look up Chef Nessa for your catering needs. How do they reach you, Chef Nessa?
You can find me all over social media. You can find me at, hey, you guys, I was just talking about John Beck is the one that was telling me about that he has his father. Anyway, you can find me at Facebook and Vanessa Lugo, or Instagram. You can find me Flavors of Chef Nessa. Also, I have another page, Chef Nessa Specials. You can, even if you Google Cafe Nessa Catering, I'll pop up right there.
That is really good. So we're covering a lot of things local.
So,
we talked a lot about brain. We talked a little about food, but we all remember food pretty well. We have important life-saving information. And just as we mentioned, there are champions in the area. I saw Nicole Peters award-winning publisher out there, really believe in your dreams, publishing. I want to give her a shout out. I saw Alan Goldberg. Oh my gosh, I had a chance to interview him. He is with the Hall of Honors, the biggest martial arts event ever, here in over in Atlantic City that he does year after year, the 20th year anniversary. He definitely is catering to the martial arts, the martial artists with the biggest event, and I want to give a shout out there also because Kirby Delani is going to be getting an award there. I understand. I represent her. Also, we have Jesse Bowen of the a.k.a. who is also, helping by producing through Epic for Elite Publications, one of the biggest martial arts historical directories that has been created for what we know. It's going to all be presented at the Hall of Honors, presented and created by Alan Goldberg, the 20th year anniversary in 2020. I'm the publicist for actually the AMAA as well as the Elite Publications is coming out as well. But also, I just wanted to highlight just the importance of your role in doing what you need to do. Now, the ancient Chinese secret on why we need to nourish our brain. You know why? Why do we need to nourish our brain? What do you think the answer to that is? I want you to be thinking about that.
So we can live a long, healthy life.
That's it. That's the ancient Chinese secret. And you're going to want to be able to just take care of yourself. Feed it the right foods, but even equally important, if not more important, feed it the right mental food as well. The things that keep you going. In this economy and state, food is not the same in terms of nutritional value as it was in the past. And I want you to think about the things that are most important to you, what you want to accomplish. We heard from Mary Nicholson, who is a founder of Healings in Motion, dedicated to helping really eradicate and beat stroke. And we can all beat stroke if we do it together. Mm-hmm. That is the brain part. And then we put the plus sign there because Asian people like to add, right? We put Chef Nessa there as well with the food. That is brain food. Mm-hmm. The important question is, what are you feeding your brain, both physically and mentally? And we want to make sure you really consider just what you want your life's purpose to be, how you live it. Mary Nicholson clearly has been living it out by helping other people. Chef Nessa, you do it through food. And I think that it's really important to consider just the importance of understanding about the signs of stroke, but also even how to take care of people. The Inner Safari is great tools, guys, for you to join it. Even fly in. We have people coming from out of the area to come in, checking it out. Yep. And any final thoughts here, Chef Nessa?
I actually feel like not only feeding yourself, but also your soul. And I think that also includes having just a positive, a positive mindset. You want positive. You want to surround yourself with positivity. And if there's a lot of negative in your life and it's affecting your mind, that's going to affect you too. So I think that if you just strive to have a better mindset on things, life will take you through a roller coaster up and down. But you know what? It's really up to you to see how you're going to pass this, because you know what? Everything happens for a reason. Life will throw, roller coasters at you, and you just need to have a very strong, positive mindset to help you keep going forward, because I strongly feel everything does happen for a reason. There's a reason why I met you. There's a reason why I met you. And I feel so blessed to be here, to have, to get more information with this lovely lady right here who's doing so much work. And I think if we all do a little bit, we can make a difference, a big difference.
That is really true. And any final thoughts here, Mary, from you?
Absolutely. In addition to the Caregiver Conference, I mentioned STARS, Stroke Thrivers, and Recovery Strivers. It is a local program, and also it is online. If you can't attend here locally on the second Thursday, you can actually go online every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, along with other survivors and caregivers throughout the country.
That's awesome.
And get support. And all you have to do is go to discovery.strokefocus.net/HIM. That's discovery.strokefocus.net/HIM. HIM, and the doors will open up to communicate and be in the presence of other survivors and caregivers nationally.
That's great.
At 1 o'clock every Tuesday.
1 o'clock every Tuesday. And, you know, we have a lot of things happening here technology-wise, and sometimes things don't always work out the way we want them to. The important thing is, in today's economy, is really being flexible. Things change so quickly.
Yes.
And, you know, in terms of things we talked about, we'll be covering more the business aspect of things, but a lot of things are very different in terms of the way people view things, the way we get information. It's so very important for us to really leverage and really understand how to maneuver through this economy here today. We are launching also something called Last Mile First. You can go to lastmilefirst.com. It is a tracking platform that we'll be launching here in the next quarter, and it is designed to be able to do a lot of things. You know, you're familiar with Uber and Lyft. It's going to be able to track delivery of food. We're going to be able to tell people, hey, I want you to pick up my keys. We want you to pick up my laundry, bring my laundry somewhere, you know. And we're actually talking to a company in Elk Grove that might use it to help transport children and stuff and track them. Wow. And, you know, we know importance of you know, just really being able to
I think that would really help
things.
People who really struggle
Absolutely.
and need that help. So that's amazing.
Yeah. And so as we end today, I want you to consider just what is most important to you, what you need to be thinking about, and what your life's purpose was meant to be. Again, every flame starts with a spark. Yes. I want to thank our guest, Chef Lugo, as well as, again, Healings of Motion founder Mary Nicholson. I'm Jim T. Chong, the Wokstar. Tune in to Chef Nessa. Chef Nessa, not Chef Lugo. Sorry.
We're going to have some Chef Nessa salsa at the caregiver.
You're going to have to come and check it out. So this is Jim T. Chong, the Wokstar. Remember, everything is really tied into your vision, but also the planning and action you take. Alan Lakin said, planning is taking the future, bringing it into the present so that you can do something about it now. This is Jim T. Chong, the Wokstar. We'll catch you next Tuesday.